I moved out without telling my parents. I was 18 and technically an adult, but my parents still treated me like I was 12. My mom would go through my backpack every single day when I got home from school, checking my homework like I was in 3rd grade. She'd read my text messages whenever she felt like it, and if I complained, she'd take my phone away for a week. My dad wasn't much better. He had this rule where I couldn't leave the house after 6 p.m., even on weekends. If I wanted to hang out with friends, I had to give them a full essay about where I was going, who would be there, and when I'd be back. The final straw was when they installed one of those tracking apps on my phone without telling me. I only found out because my friend Jake mentioned seeing my location pop up when he was trying to text me. I confronted them about it that night, and my mom just shrugged and said it was for my safety. My dad backed her up, saying as long as I lived under their roof, I followed their rules. I'd been working at this pizza place since I turned 16, saving up every paycheck except for what I needed for gas and lunch money. By the time I graduated high school, I had almost $4,000 saved up. I started looking at apartments online during my lunch breaks, telling myself I was just browsing. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I could actually do this. I found this tiny studio apartment about 20 minutes from my job. The rent was only $600 a month, and the landlord said if I could prove I had a steady income and pay first month plus deposit, he'd rent to me. I went to look at it on a day my parents thought I was at work. It was small and kind of dingy, but it was mine. I filled out the application that same day. 2 weeks later, he called and said I was approved. I could move in the following weekend. That's when it hit me that I was actually doing this. I felt sick to my stomach, but also kind of excited. I started slowly moving my stuff out. Every day after work, I'd grab a backpack full of clothes or books and stash them in my car. I told my parents I was staying late to help close the restaurant, which wasn't totally a lie since I was picking up extra shifts to make sure I could afford everything. The hardest part was getting my bigger stuff out. I waited until they went to my aunt's house for Sunday dinner, something I'd gotten out of by saying I had to work. I loaded up my car with my dresser, my desk, and my TV. I left most of the furniture since it wasn't really mine anyway, but I took the stuff that mattered. I left them a note on the kitchen counter. I kept it simple, told them I'd moved out, that I was safe, and that I'd call them in a few days when I was settled. I said I needed space to figure out who I was as an adult, and that I hoped they'd understand eventually. I left my house key next to the note. My phone started blowing up around 8 that night. Missed calls, texts, voicemails. My mom was crying in half of them. My dad was yelling in the others. They wanted to know where I was, if I was okay, why I didn't talk to them first. They said they'd always supported me and couldn't understand why I'd do this to them. I turned my phone off and didn't turn it back on until the next morning. I had 37 missed calls and way too many texts to read through. I called them back and told them I was fine, gave them my address, and said they could come see my place if they wanted. My mom showed up an hour later with